The camera fades in on a quiet cul-de-sac in Chico, California, late December night, 1983. A modest ranch house glows softly against the winter chill. Inside, a baby boy takes his first breath on the second day of the month, born to Ed and Darla Rodgers. They name him Aaron Charles Rodgers. No one in that hospital room could have imagined that this squalling infant would one day stand among the greatest quarterbacks ever to play the game, or that he would become one of the most polarizing figures in American sports. This is his story. Growing up, Aaron was the middle child, sandwiched between older brother Luke and younger brother Jordan. The Rodgers' home was athletic, faith-filled, and fiercely competitive. Ed, a former offensive lineman at Chico State, made sure his boys played everything: baseball, basketball, soccer, football. But it was baseball where Aaron first showed prodigious talent. By age 10, he was already throwing 70-mile-an-hour fastballs and hitting tape measure home runs. Scouts whispered that the kid had a future in the big leagues. Yet something about football kept pulling him back. At Pleasant Valley High School, Aaron waited and waited. The varsity coach, Sterling Smith, kept the skinny sophomore on the bench behind a senior who happened to be the coach's son. Rodgers threw exactly 2 passes his entire junior year. College recruiters never saw him play quarterback under Friday night lights. When the letters finally came, they were for junior colleges or walk-on invitations. Butte Community College in nearby Oroville offered the only real scholarship. Aaron swallowed his pride and went. Butte was supposed to be a 2-year detour. Instead, it became the launch pad. In 2003, Rodgers threw for 26 touchdowns and nearly 3,000 yards. Suddenly, Division I schools that had ignored him were blowing up his phone. Cal came calling, and Jeff Tedford, one of the best quarterback developers in the country, saw something in the kid from Chico. Aaron packed his bags for Berkeley. The Golden Bears hadn't had a winning season in a decade, but Rodgers changed everything. In 2004, he led Cal to a 10-1 regular season record, finishing the year ranked 4th in the nation. He threw for 2,903 yards, 24 touchdowns, and only 8 interceptions. He beat USC in a thriller, outdueled Stanford in the big game, and looked every bit the future. First overall pick. When he declared for the 2005 NFL Draft, most mock drafts had him going first or second. The San Francisco 49ers, picking first overall, were right in his own backyard. Draft day arrived, April 23, 2005. Aaron flew to New York City with his family, sat in the green room at Radio City Music Hall and waited. The 49ers took Alex Smith. Miami, picking second, passed. Cleveland, Minnesota, Arizona, Tampa Bay, each pick stung like a slap. Hours dragged on. Cameras caught every awkward smile, every forced nod. By the time the Green Bay Packers selected him 24th overall, nearly 6 hours after the draft began, Rodgers had become the face of one of the most infamous slides in NFL history. Green Bay wasn't home. It was exile. The Packers already had a legend at quarterback, Brett Favre, 3-time MVP, Super Bowl champion, gunslinger extraordinaire. For 3 years, Aaron stood on the sideline in a baseball cap, holding a clipboard, learning, waiting, and quietly seething. Favre retired in March 2008, then unretired in July, then demanded a trade, then retired again, then signed with the Minnesota Vikings. Through all the drama, Rodgers said almost nothing publicly. Privately, he promised himself he would never let the Packers regret waiting on him. His first snap as a starter came on Monday Night Football against the Vikings, the team Favre now played for. Rodgers threw for 178 yards and a touchdown in a 24-19 win. The torch was passed, whether Green Bay wanted it or not. What followed was a decade of brilliance that redefined what a quarterback could be. 2010 was the season everything crystallized. The Packers lost 15 players to injured reserve, including 5 opening day starters on offense. Rodgers himself missed a game and a half with concussions. Yet somehow, Green Bay limped into the playoffs as the 6th seed. In the wild card round, Rodgers carved up Philadelphia. In the divisional round, he dismantled Atlanta. In the NFC Championship, he outdueled Chicago's vaunted defense despite a lingering concussion. Super Bowl 45 arrived in Dallas, and The Packers faced the Pittsburgh Steelers. Rodgers completed 24 of 39 passes for 304 yards and 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. He was named MVP. At 27 years old, Aaron Rodgers had his ring, but the numbers only tell part of the story. Rodgers played the position like a jazz musician, improvising within structure, extending plays with his legs, threading needles no one else saw. His arm talent was generational. He could flick a 60-yard bomb off his back foot or feather a touch pass into a bucket. Defenses knew what was coming and still couldn't stop it. From 2011 to 2020, he threw 364 touchdown passes against just 84 interceptions, a ratio so absurd it almost feels unfair. 4 MVP awards followed: 2011, 2014, 2020, and 2021, tying Peyton Manning for the most. All-time. Off the field, Aaron was different. Where Favre had been brash and beloved, Rodgers was cerebral and guarded. He read books on psychology and quantum physics. He devoured documentaries and podcasts. He avoided the Wisconsin bar scene that embraced Favre and instead spent off-seasons in Los Angeles, cultivating friendships with thinkers, comedians, and spiritual seekers. He dated actresses Olivia Munn, Danica Patrick, and kept his private life fiercely private. When he did speak, it was often in measured, sometimes cryptic sound bites that left reporters scrambling. The relationship with his family fractured. Sometime around 2014, rumors swirled. A girlfriend the parents disliked, a rift over religion, money, fame, nobody knows for sure. Aaron stopped speaking to his parents and brothers for years. Jordan Rodgers went on The Bachelorette and spoke openly about the estrangement. Aaron never responded publicly. The silence became its own headline. By 2020, the Packers were ready to move on. They traded up in the draft to select Jordan Love out of Utah State. Rodgers found out when the pick was announced on television. Instead of pouting, he responded with perhaps the greatest season of his career. 48 touchdown passes, 5 interceptions, 70.7% completion, 121.5 rating, league MVP at age 37. It was a middle finger wrapped in perfection. Then came the darkness. In the summer of 2021, Rodgers went to Hawaii and did ayahuasca for the first time. He later described the psychedelic experience as life-changing. He returned to Green Bay, lied to reporters about his COVID vaccination status. "Yeah, I've been immunized." And when the truth came out that he was unvaccinated, the backlash was ferocious. He missed 10 days after testing positive, then returned to lead the Packers to the #1 seed. They lost in the divisional round to San Francisco on a blocked punt. Another year, another heartbreak. The divorce from Green Bay became inevitable. In April 2023, after months of public posturing, the Packers traded Rodgers to the New York Jets for a package of picks. He arrived in New York like a rock star, private jet, American flag. "I'm a New Yorker now" press conference. The city that never sleeps finally had its quarterback. Then, on September 11th, 2023, for snaps into his Jets career disaster, Rodgers dropped back against the Buffalo Bills, felt a pop in his left leg, and went down. Ruptured Achilles tendon. Season over. Before it began, the darkest moment of his professional life. What followed was one of the most remarkable comebacks in sports history. At age 39, Rodgers attacked rehab with monastic discipline. He slept in hyperbaric chambers, experimented with dolphin-assisted therapy, and posted cryptic Instagram videos of himself running in a zero-gravity treadmill. Doctors said 18 months. Rodgers targeted 6. By September 2024, he was practicing. By November, he was playing. The Jets stumbled to a 3-8 record before he returned. But when he did, the old magic flickered. He threw laser beams on the run, escaped sacks with that familiar ballet dancer spin, and reminded everyone why he was once considered the best to ever do it. The team didn't make the playoffs, but Rodgers finished the season healthy, with 27 touchdowns and a promise that 2025 would be different. At 41 years old, Aaron Rodgers is no longer the young phenom who fell to 24th. His hair is grayer, his politics louder, his beliefs more unconventional. He has questioned 9/11, flirted with Robert Kennedy Jr.'s presidential campaign, and doubled down on his skepticism of mainstream medicine and media. Some call him enlightened. Others call him insufferable. Almost nobody is neutral. Yet on Sunday afternoons, when the ball is snapped, the noise fades. There is only the pocket, the progressions, the release. The arm is still elite. The mind is still sharper than most. The competitor who once turned a draft day humiliation into a Hall of Fame career refuses to go quietly. In a league that chews up legends and spits them out, Aaron Rodgers keeps writing new chapters. He has won 1 Super Bowl and lost 4 NFC championship games at home. He has 4 MVPs and 0 second rings. He has been loved, hated, misunderstood, and occasionally transcended. The boy from Chico who wasn't good enough for Division I scholarships became the most talented quarterback of his generation. The man who once sat in the green room for 6 hours now controls his own narrative, for better or worse. Love him or hate him, there has never been anyone quite like Aaron Charles Rodgers. And as long as he's still standing in that pocket, extending plays, defying time, the story isn't finished. Not even close.